Hello, Internet. I am Pastor Recoil, and welcome to my parish. Today is Easter Sunday, and we're going to talk about it. Welcome to Pastor Recoil's parish, where I talk about some things in the Bible that you may not have heard about in church, either because it's not quite appropriate for all audiences, or it just isn't something that's easy to talk about in a sermon. Today's readings for Easter Sunday are Acts 10:34-43, Psalm 118, 1-2 and 14-24, 1 Corinthians 15, 19-26, and Luke 24, 1-12. Today, we celebrate Jesus' resurrection, and I think one of the most important things about it is that we can't prove it. That's not what a lot of Christians would want to hear. There was a whole thing a couple years ago when people kept trying to give undeniable proof of the resurrection of Jesus. A ton of books were written to that effect, and the evidence they came up with was, well, usually good enough to reinforce a belief in the resurrection of Jesus. But I don't think it would have convinced anyone who didn't already believe. Now, those same Christians would often be the ones to be not so nice if someone dared to express doubt at the resurrection. It would show a lack of faith or something to consider the possibility that Jesus didn't rise from the dead. But I think it's good to question, and it's good to doubt, and good to wonder about these things. Now, I do want to be clear, I believe that Jesus rose from the dead, but it's not evidence that makes me believe this. My faith in the resurrection isn't a proven fact. In fact, it's hard to explain exactly why I believe in it. But I do. And it's a belief that's been reinforced because of things that have happened in my life. Might others have a different explanation for those things? Absolutely. But that's the tricky thing about faith. Faith is fuzzy. The whole point of faith is putting trust in something that we can't see, we can't touch, we can't prove. And believing that someone came back from the dead is kind of asking a lot. Even Jesus' disciples, when they heard from the women who visited the tomb and heard that Jesus had rose from the dead, they didn't believe the women. It took seeing the risen Jesus, and for some, poking Jesus through his nail and spear wounds, to believe that Jesus actually rose from the dead. I'm so glad for those stories. I'm glad that the people who knew Jesus took some time to come to terms with his resurrection. And I'm glad that it takes faith and not proof. Because our world is a fuzzy world. Things are never quite as certain as we want them to be. Very little in life is absolutely one thing or absolutely its opposite. There's a lot of room in our world for nuance and uncertainty, and I think the resurrection of Jesus invites that. Is there things that my faith in the resurrection makes more certain than not? Absolutely. I trust that because Jesus rose from the dead, that I also have the promise of being raised to new life, both in this world and in the world to come. I trust that God is working in me so that I might love more than I harm. And I trust that I am made more like Jesus every day. Maybe it's all for nothing. Maybe the thing that I put my faith in didn't happen. Maybe Jesus didn't rise from the dead. But if that's the case, all I've done is be a better person. I'm actually okay with that. Because I'm not putting my trust in some afterlife that I might miss out on. That's a bonus for me. I'm focused on this life and seeking to be better right now as a response to the life that I'm promised through Jesus' resurrection. So if you want to see more content like this, check out the links to my right, or click the logo just below my face to subscribe so you'll know when my next video comes out. Thank you for watching, and take the time this week to love your neighbor as yourself, especially if you don't like them all that much.